Okay, here we have a 2010 model year Land Rover, Range Rover HSE. And here we see the Land Rover Jaguar V8 with the direct fuel injection, normally aspirated. And the reason why this vehicle is here is because we've had a catastrophic coolant leak. And this is apparently a common problem here with this style plastic, a type of glass reinforced, glass filled, carbon black nylon. And what has a tendency to happen is that the coolant formulation that they've chosen acts as a plasticizer and actually causes this to become soft and deteriorates. Now this is a used car, and it was sold, and the customer came back real fast with a coolant leak. And as you can see, I carefully removed this, but it was leaking here at these ports. Didn't take much to pull these out. Now I still got a little piece of plastic in there, so I need to look for it very carefully. But we got a brand new one. And here we see our genuine Land Rover part. They're made in the United Kingdom. And we're going to go ahead and carefully install this. Now, as far as the procedure to do this, what I very carefully did was unbolt the intake manifold and lift it up. And there it gave me access to the Torx fasteners there for me to remove the water manifold. And then, of course, I have an additional Torx fastener here, which is actually the same size and style as the fasteners holding the manifold to the center part of the engine block. Now we're going to go ahead and slip our replacement unit in and go ahead and carefully pressure test, filling it with fresh antifreeze, and hopefully we'll be ready to go. Okay, here we're back with our 2010 model year Land Rover, Range Rover HSE, and here we have the Jaguar V8, normally aspirated. I'm filled her up with coolant, and of course there's our air bleed, and it's a little bit frustrating to get the air out of this system. I'm just letting it idle, warm up, get that thermostat to open, and circulate the coolant. Now I do have a vacuum filler system. I kind of hesitate to use it, but what it basically does is evacuates the system, and then you actually pull the antifreeze in from the bottle under a vacuum. And it actually works pretty well, but I kind of use it as a last resort. Normally it's not really that much of a problem, especially this one where the coolant reservoir is well above the level of the water pump. Alright, now as these Jaguar engines go, this is one of the quieter ones. Oftentimes the cam that actuates the high pressure fuel pumps down low on the lower right hand front of the engine, it has a tendency to make noise, but this one's pretty quiet. And actually, as looking this vehicle over, it's actually very clean and in very good shape. So this is a good tow vehicle, as we mentioned before, as far as towing a boat or towing a trailer. It has the ZF 6 HP automatic transmission, good heavy duty unit. This is probably the 28 or the 26, and does well. Now we're letting her warm up, and then I'm going to do a final careful leak check to make sure I'm not leaking any coolant. There are a number of these plastic manifolds on this engine that are prone to leakage. One of those is in the back. It's kind of difficult to get to. It's not impossible on the Land Rover, but on the Jaguar, the V8 in the Jaguar, like the XJ, you pretty well are going to be pulling the automatic transmission to get at it. This one you can do it without that. There's a plastic tube between the water pump and the heat exchanger. The oil to coolant heat exchanger underneath the intake manifold is prone to leakage. And then of course the plumbing in front of the water pump. But that was all in pretty good shape here, and we were careful not to disturb it. Okay. Now oftentimes when you see the kit to replace that manifold there on eBay, you also see the rubber gaskets there for the intake manifold. And yes, the intake manifold, as you saw earlier, is up in the air and gave me plenty of access to get at those Torx fasteners to remove that coolant manifold. Alright, now there's a few other little issues on this vehicle that need to be addressed, but as far as the coolant leak, hopefully we're in good shape.